can share this with other people later on. Okay. So today what we're going to do is, what we have seen is, specifically about business intelligence, there is very less awareness between developers. People are aware of C#, people are aware of ASP.NET, SQL Server, everything, right? But when it comes to SSIS, SSRS, SSIS, right, people are, developers are very less aware of it. Must be SSRS, people are aware of it, but SSIS and SSIS, there is very less awareness. So what we have done here is, you can see, we have two people here, Mr. Kamal Singh Rawat and Akshay Patel. Both of them are senior developers. Okay, and they also conduct regular training, across India as well as in corporates. So today's agenda is divided into two parts. One is basically we'll start with SSRS. We'll look into that basic report wizard and how to do the configuration and how to integrate with C#. And the second one is we'll look into how to go and use SSIS to import different file formats and use connection managers. Okay, so what I'll do is I have enabled. Basically I have enabled my recording, as well as I have made both of these guys presenters, Akshay as well as Kamal. So Kamal, I'll mute myself. You can start, guys. If you want, you can share your screen and start.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, so friends, I'll speak about SSIS. Basically, what SSIS stands for, it's SQL Server Integration Services. So actually what was happening earlier, that we had a concept called DTS, Data Transformation Services. So actually this SSIS is actually a full replacement of DTS, which is an enterprise class ETL system. Now here you are seeing a word ETL, which is extraction, transformation and load. Now once I go through the entire process, I'll show you what we mean by extract, then transform and then load. So this whole framework is around the framework of Business Studio 2005, so this concept came 2005 onwards. So if you see, I'll show you on the screen that how we can make the SSIS projects and the packages using the Visual Studio environment. And this whole SSIS application is UI based, so everything you can configure, you can make the application as you make your application in Visual Studio. So now what we will take, so we'll try to create an ETL system based on the real world situation. So I mean to say that where we can use these ETL applications, or where we can apply these things so that we can take the benefit of this ETL framework released by Microsoft in our day-to-day applications, in our enterprise and business applications, and the introduction and implement of few of the controls, then demos, and there are few things which I'll talk about, like connection managers, which was on the first slide. Now, what I think the basics thing what you should understand, it's pretty easy once you get into this framework. As you do as you make your simple applications like web, Windows, you have a very great UI. You have drag and drop the controls. You have to configure the properties and all that. So now I'll show you the first concept of SSIS, means SQL Server Integration Services. So this whole framework, this whole area is divided into three parts. So as you can see in the slide, you have three things: control flow, data flow and event handler. So when I was talking on the, I think the first slide, when I was talking about ETL, extract, transform and load. So when we deal with very huge information, so first of all we have to extract the information, then transform and then load. So now you can see over here the first layer is control flow, handles the processing of events, that what is the flow of data. Then it comes at level 2, which is data flow, handles data process using ETL, and third one is event handler, that on what particular action I should do this particular thing. I'll show in the demos how we are using. So now you can see the concept number 2. In the concept number 1, you are seeing that the first one is control flow, the second one is data flow, third one is event handler. Now just concentrate on the concept number 2. Sources. I was talking about the E and T and L, extracts data. What is my source? it may be a text file, it may be a OLED connection, it may be a raw data, it can be anything. Now once that data is done, we come to transformation, that to process the data, what should be my logic, what should be my the core crush area, that okay, based on my this condition, based on my certain rules and regulations, I should populate the data. And here I'll take a simple example. As we have XML, we all know what is XML, extensible markup language. Once we have that XML data, what happens at some point of time, we have to show the data in some particular format. But if I'm not aware of HTML, if I'm not aware of Visual Studio, I can use the concept of XSLT, which is Extensible Style Street Language Transformation, which what actually it does, it transforms the XML data and put it in some in a very well manner so that the data comes into a presentable way. So the same way we have a three form like source, transformation and load. So now you can see the first, the source, extract. So what should be my source? It may be file anything. Then we transform, and at the last, what should be my destination, where I have to load the data. Now, the concept 3. The toolbox will not contain every conceivable tool you will need for any given project. So it means that, sorry. So as I was saying that as you have worked with Visual Studio environment, you are having all your controls on the left hand side on the toolbox and all that. So you can create your own custom project using this SSIS. SSIS is not a predefined thing. Okay, that you have to follow this, or you have to. It means you are not bounded. You can create your own custom things. You can create your own custom packages, your projects and all that. And I was saying it is fully a drag and drop, a nice tool through which we can make our application so perfect, so intelligent, so that within a single click I can get my result immediately. There are so many things where there are so many places where we have to configure the objects. It means the properties and all that. And you can also write your own custom code, as I was talking about, to transform the part, the part 2, where you are writing your own custom logic. Then there are more implementations like configuration, deployment, event handling and all that. We'll go to, I think I'll just take you the very simple. You can see how to start with the SSIS application. So first of all, as I said, it started 2005 onwards, SQL 2005. But as of now in my PC, SQL Server 2008 are being installed. So you can see on the screen, this is the SQL Server BIDS. It means Business Intelligence Development Studio. This is the platform where you can make your SSIS application. But this is totally different from your SQL Server 2008. You don't have to bother whether you have Visual Studio or not. But if you have installed the SQL Server, you can go immediately to BIDS, Business Intelligence Development Studio, and you can make your application. So I'll click on that. So here on the screen you can see Visual Studio 2008. If you have 2005 at your home, so I think you will be getting the same screen, but instead of 2008 you will get 2005. So now, yeah, so I was talking about file. So now here, as simple what we were doing earlier in the Visual Studio, new, click on new, then the project. But instead of any Windows or web application, it will be very different. Now here on the left hand side top, you will get an integration services project. So now, as I said, the first thing I'll show you the demo where I'm trying to get a data from a flat file. It is a Excel file, Excel with CSV, comma separated value, and I'm trying to get the values from that Excel file into my DB. First I'll show the demo and then we'll quickly jump to the application, how we can make that. So now here you can see. First we'll create this project SSIS, and here I can show you demo webinar. What I can do, import demo webinar. Now this is my name of the project. You can see this is not an application, it's an integration service project. Once it is done, just click OK. Now guys, you see on the screen, we are having three parts as I was talking: control flow, data flow, and event handlers. So as of now on your screen, there are three things: control, data, and event handlers. As I was talking on my presentation, the first, I think, yeah, it is the first one, the control flow, the data flow, and the event handler. So I'm trying to handle the data, then trying to transform the data, and then trying to load the data. So here you can see again I am having the toolbox, a very quick toolbox. Like I'm having the now you will get all the tools what you can use based upon your flow, what you choose. If you choose control flow, then you have the options what you can use on the control flow items based upon your requirement, what you actually want to make. Second thing is data flow. So immediately you will see data flow sources are coming on the left hand side, and then your event handler. So based on what events you want to do and all that. So just coming to that, now just see here I'm you can as of now just on the screen what you can see is that I'm having a very rectangle box with a flat file source, right? And connected to a green line, I'm having another rectangle box which indicates OLEDB destination. Which it is trying to show you what is my source and what is my destination. Now you will say I was talking about ETL, extract the source. The last one is L, it means load the data at destination, where is transform. So as of now this application is only for trying to import data from Excel format or from a flat file, it may be a text file, it may be Excel file, to my DB. So I'll show you how we are trying to make, how we can achieve this. We can see here on my click on that. This is employee. Let me just show you. Gosh, sorry. I'm just trying to get the data from employee master. Yeah. So now you can see on the screen from employee master table I'm having I think 5 fields: title, first name, surname, so and date started. Now I may have a bunch of record. I may have a full company data in Excel file. I'll show you where actually the file is. You can see here. Visible on the screen? So yeah, you can see on the screen I'm having an Excel file. So actually what happens in the real world, every time we cannot rely on the UI. Every time I cannot give a UI to my the co-workers or the data entry operator, like you have to do this title, first name and all that. Sometimes what happens if we have so many contacts with so many people, so what they do, they give a Excel sheet. They may also give a very plain text file, separate with some tab, with some comma, with some a kind of blah 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 blah. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to get the data from Excel file and trying to import that data in my DB. As good as what we do insert update. But you can see over here, there is no line of code, there is no SQL connection, no insert statement, no SQL command statement. Everything is getting done through a UI process. So I'm trying to configure the integration of a flat file to a database. So now I think you all have seen the data on the file. So what I will do, I'm closing the window of Excel. I will quickly jump to the application. Yeah. So now the first step what you have to do is control the flow. What I was talking about, data flow task. The task is to transfer the flow of data. So we are trying to make a flow of data from Excel to DB. So now on the control flow, you have always you all have to take a data flow task. Now once it is done, that's it. Do a right click on that, you will get edit, or what else you can do? You can do a double click on that. So you will immediately shift it to a data flow. Now you came from control to data flow. It means from extraction, you have defined your source, that what we are trying to do. We are trying to make a flow of data. Now the actual process happens over here. So now what I did, I took the same thing what we can do. I can show you on my over here. I'll take a data flow task. It's done over here. You can see on the screen. I'm making a new project over here. Sorry. I'm coming to data flow. I'll take a flat file. Just what you have to do is drag and drop as you normally do in your Windows or web applications. Now, first of all, you can see over here a very red cross symbol. A connection manager has not been assigned to the runtime connection. As I was saying that, I'm having a flat file, so still I haven't configured the file. Where is my file? Where is my data? Where is my information? So I have to get that information. So I will do what you can do. Double click on that. So you will see a window. I'm showing you again. Once you click over here, just on the border, do a double click. You'll get a big window where you have to configure all the properties. Now, this is blank. Now I'm trying to create a new flat file connection manager. So I can write this is just a name, flat FFM. Now this is trying to get the file name. Now you can see it over here. This is SSIS. Sorry. Yeah. So you employ. Once it is done, now you can see file name is done. All these properties have been set automatically. Now you can see this box column. Columns names in the first data row. If you can recall this sheet, I'll show you employee. It indicates that the first row are the column name for the data. It means whatever information I am having, the first is having the column name like title, first name, surname, DOB and date started. So once it is done, so what I did, I simply I have to click over it. It means I'm indicating the row 1 is having the header name, the column names. Once it is done, you can see your data, preview of data, advanced, and all that. You can see the preview. It means everything is working fine and everything is done. So once it is done, click OK. You can check it columns, what columns. Even you can skip your column over here. Now you can see I can skip title, I can add title, whatever fields you want to show, you can you want to set those to DB, you can. And once it's done, okay. Now the cross mark has gone. It means I have assigned the property, I have configured the flat source. Now once it is done, this is my source. Now where is my destination? So I have to add data flow destination means SQL Server destination. Just drag and drop. Once it is done, again I am having a red cross arrow that I haven't configured the source. But before that, I can rename it. And once it is done, now as I was saying that we cannot link it or we cannot make the application as an integration unless I use this green arrow. Now you can see over here, you will see a tooltip to create a connection, drag an available output data flow component to the input of another data flow component. It means the output of this flat file source is the input for DB. So I will just drag and drop it over here, and once it is done, I will again double click on that. You can see. So just let me truncate the truncate table. Done. There is no data. in the DB. Select staff from employee. Master, there is no data available. Okay, clear? Now, coming back to the application, there is no connection manager. I'm trying to make the connection. I think it is the table name. Yeah, it's employee and employee master. Okay. You can see you have the available data connection. It's the PC name and the SQL Server instance and your DB with the DB of the owner. For example, if it is not, then you can create a new connection manager. For that you have to provide your server name if it is not listed over here. So we can make it, but as of now it is listed on the screen. So we will take the same and we'll put it. Now just see, immediately as I configure the connection manager, I have to select the destination. It means whatever information I am having on the Excel file, the flat file, I'll put the same information on my employee master. And you can check the mappings, the input column to the destination column. It means every information is mapped to the same column, and it is okay. Now everything is done. My SSIS package is done to input a data from flat file to a DB. I'm again showing you the screen. There is no data as of now, but as soon as I will run this package or this application, it will try to import the data from that flat file to your DB. Now I'm running my application as usual. You run your web or Windows or whatever application. Oh, I think so. Is the problem? Oh, sorry. My destination is wrong. I think so. Take it again.
You can see in the execution results or progress must be, just in case. Yeah.
Sorry?
You can see in the execution results. Kamal, this is Shiv here. You can see in this execution results.
Yeah, actually, I think there's a problem with the destination. Actually, this is the process. Actually, I'll show you over here. If I run the application, it will immediately work. So now you can see on the screen green signal. It means the execution was very clear. It was done. It means you can see the number of rows affected. There were 3 rows in the flat file in the employees. Okay, and what it did, it took the source on the file and those rows were inserted into the DB. Now I'll go to the DB.
I have one question.
And if you click over here, yeah, so you are having the records, what the records were in the Excel file.
I have one question over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially we were getting some error that in that SQL Server destination that was highlighted with red color, right?
Yeah. It did.
So what was the error? I mean, is there any way to see that error? So then how can you come about the error?
Yeah, I'll show you just a second. I'll show you that how we can get those error messages. Let me first finish this the part of how to import data and all that. Then I'll come back to you and I will show you that whatever the error we are getting, how we can log and how we can see those errors.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So now we saw that how we can import data from Excel file or whatever flat file we have. So you can see we are having a flat file, we are having an Excel source. So you can get your data into those formats and you can import those data into your DB. Now this is not the only task. What you can do? There is one more very advanced and very great feature what we always face in our real life applications, in our enterprise applications. That is derived column. Actually, what happens most of the time?
Hello. Sorry to interrupt. Before proceeding further, I have a doubt that when we were importing the fields from the flat file into our OLEDB source, do we need to keep a track of the similar names of the columns and the data we have in flat file should be the same one?
No. As I said, that whatever fields you want to import on a DB. For example, right now I had only 3 fields. Okay. Now instead of that, if you want to import only one field, then your flat file should have only one field, and while you're configuring that the whole flow, you have to take only that field. It means, and the second thing was very important, what you can see over here, while you're trying to mapping, this is very important. While you're trying to map, it means, for example, as I showed you over here, in the flat file, if you don't want those, you can disable it from here, so you won't get those fields as a record in your DB. So you will be having only those records. So it is not compulsory that you will have to import all the fields unless it is required. So as I said, most of the times we require all the fields, or that flat file is having all the records, so we have to import all those fields. But in case if you don't want to import all the fields, you have the option that you can make it in this way, that remove the mark from here, and you will be having only selected fields, whatever you want.
Okay, fine, thank you.
So now I will talk about the next very great feature, which is derived columns. Actually, it is a column what we don't need always, but when we need it, we need it very well. So if I talk, for example, if I am having information over here, I am having some employee's information. If you see on the screen, I am having an employee ID, I am having his first name, the last name, the date of birth, employee salary plus HRA, and there may be n number of information to make that employee. But always we don't need this information. Sometimes our senior or whatever the supervisor, they need consolidated information, a very few information. That I want the full name with his date of birth and full complete salary. Now you can see on the screen, I may have 50 fields, his date of birth, blood group and all that. I cannot show those data to my senior. So at that time I need to filter the records. So using SSIS, or I cannot write the query that okay, select from this table with some operation, date, operation and all that. Every time I cannot show the reports on web and all that. I am having a very featured tool through which I can make a column, and I can put those data in a separate table. At any time, if they need that information, I can do I can execute a very single select statement sets up on my table. So now, if you see over here, I am having two tables. The first one is employee details, where I am having a full information of the employer, where I am having his first name, the last name, his date of birth, employee salary, and his HRA. Now, if you see the table number 2, so let's start from employee detail destination. It is having a consolidated information, his full name. This full name includes his first name plus last name. His age is the calculation of the current year minus his date of birth, whereas his current salary would be the sum of his salary plus HRA and inserted date. It means at what time I am trying to insert this data. First of all, let me show you. I am just running the application. You will see how it is done, and then I will show you the steps. So now you will see the green signal. It means everything has done successfully. Took the source, the logic, whatever I did, and at the last I loaded the information. So here the perfect combination of ETL. I extract the data from my source, transform some logic, whatever the first name plus last name, the salary of plus HRN, and whatever calculations we did. And at the last, I show you the concept of loading. It means I want to load that data in some separate DB. So at any time, I don't have to write those queries. So now let's see the process. We are having the information. Now you can see the first name, last name has been combined, employee age, current year 2012 minus the DOB of the employee, your employee salary 10,000 plus 1,500, 8,000 plus 1,200, everything is done. Now just quickly coming back to the application, how we did it. The first, I think the first and last step is very the same in most of the applications. Only DB source, my source, double click, DB name and all that, everything is done. Now the main rush part is the column. Now here, you can see the columns. Now these are the columns which are listed on the DB. I had employee first name, his name, DOB, salary, HRA, ID. Now these are the expressions what you can implement on these fields. Now for example, if I get over here, you can write whatever you want. Okay, so now this is a column name. What do you want to put? Now here you have two options: add as a new column and replace. So now my requirement is that I want to add a new column in a new DB. So that is a column, add as a instructions for that column. And here very clear, I want to do an expression. This is very important part of this whole logic, the whole. So what I did, you can make it like, for example, if I delete this, you can just drag it from here and put it over here. Okay, and then you can write plus, then double equal to, and then plus, and again you can make it over here and again drop. So your work is done. So it is same what we did earlier. It means you have to put your expressions, whatever you want to do. The same for the employee age. What we did, date difference, and whatever the values we pass, EMT, DOB, cat date, and the subsection. The same way for employee CTC and employee HR is done, and insert date. So now if you do it okay, so your thing is done. But every time you have to use this green arrows, it means you have to implement, it means you have to make a connection between these three. And once it is done, you have to press F5. So your package is done, and then you will see this as the result. There's one more thing on the Solution Explorer. This is the main package.dtsx. This is the main cream of your application. This is the only thing what every time we want to execute. Now you will say that do I have to execute it from always from Visual Studio? No, it is not compulsory that you have to execute this main package from Visual Studio. There is one more exe that will, because this is in very depth. There are so many exes through which you can run these packages as a scheduler also. You can put these packages in scheduler also, so that every time, for example, if I want to do all these calculations, this was just a simple example, but at a regular interval of time, you can put in logic to calculate something, to do something at the like day-end services, day-end calculations. You can put those logics into this application, and you can keep this application in a SQL Server job, where that job will be executed at a particular interval of time, like you can say like half an hour or 1 hour. So basically, we talked about this SSIS means using the integration of all these things, we can make our application life so much easier that without writing a single line of code. So here you saw that for importing a task, otherwise we could have done also the same thing using open row set, using some drivers of Excel and all that to import all this data. But instead of that, what we did, we use a very clear UI tool to drag and drop the configuration part. We import the data from Excel file, put it into the DB and all that. The same way we also retrieved the information as a derived column, which is not that much easier unless we write some complex queries, we write some process and all that. Now, apart from this, there is one more, apart from this screen, you can see over here this connection manager. What I was talking in the slides, apart from this control flow, data flow and event handlers, there is one more thing, connection manager. In this application, I think you can see only one thing on your screen, that is your connection. This is a manager what we use in our OLEDB. So right now you are having only one connection manager. Actually, it makes a bridge between your connectors. Like for example, if you see this application, your importing application, I am having two connection managers. The first one is employee connection. This is a flat file connection. This is not a OLEDB. So now in this application we use two things, flat file source and OLEDB. So here I am having two. The first one is a flat file connection manager and the second one is OLEDB. Okay. So now I think I should come back to the slides. So what I was talking about, this control for data flow, and this is the one you can create your own controls and all that. I was talking about the flat files. You may have your products, your sales, customers.txt, and you can create your file some with delimited with some tabs, commas and all that. There are more new features and flexibility, but I cannot take all those in a overnight or in a single day. But there are something like you can create, like as I said, we can make our own custom code controls based on our requirements. So we can also use variables, configuration settings, logging and all that. Okay, so now I will end up this particular session on SSRS because the next would be on SSRS. So in any case, if you have any problems, so please do shoot me on my email ID, kamal.rawat. I'm sorry, this is my official ID and it should be.
Kamal, you are playing off your official ID on. Okay. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So this is my personal email ID where if you have any problems or if you want to learn more on this SSIS and things, I have so many tutorials, applications and all that. So at any time if you face any difficulties or if you think that where I should implement this kind of package and all that, you can immediately mail me on kamal86 at gmail. So if you have any questions. Hello.
Wait, please.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Kamal, I have one question on this.
Yeah.
Basically, you did the drive section from SQL Server to SQL Server. Can we do the same from the flat file to SQL Server and put that drive section in that, like the first example you gave, right?
Yeah.
So can we do that from the flat file to SQL Server and drive from the flat file, not from the SQL Server?
You can. As I showed you, you can import the data from a flat file to a SQL Server, from an Access file to a SQL Server, from an Excel file to a SQL Server, and in the same way you can export your data from SQL Server to flat file, SQL Server to your Access file, and SQL Server to your Excel file. So they are both the features are available for importing and exporting.
Okay.
Kamal,
Yeah.
we have one more question. Like you in file for flat files transformation, you have used only one file to one file. Employees file is transferred into a table. If you have a multiple files, can we do in a single package?
You can take multiple files. You can.
Okay.
Kamal, one question.
Hello.
Yeah, Kamal, what we did is source, then a transformation, there is one transformation, and then your extract, what we did is insertion. So when you fire a question, we fire a query on source, means you have written something, it is firing source. So suppose for a architecture where two distinct SQL servers are there. So source is getting fired on the source SQL server, or it is taking data. Hello.
I think your voice is not coming clear. Hello.
Okay.
Can you
In that
can you raise your hand and text me?
hello.
So I can read what is your exact problem. I think there's some problem in the voice communication. If you can raise me your question, I think that would be more clear.
Hi Kamal, I have one question.
Yeah.
For example, in my application, I have a logic is like that. I am getting a values from the CSV file, but initially I am checking that particular entry is there or not in the system. If it is not there in the table, then I am inserting that entry into the table, and then again I am inserting data into the another table. So is that type of logic can I write using this SSIS?
You can. What you can do, like for example, consider the part. So for example, as you was talking, like for example, if I'll take a very simple example of primary key. Now, for example, if your records are already inserted, now your record number 101 is already inserted, but by mistake your Excel file is having that 101. So you can mark over there. There is a one that identity. It means that if this whole application is also making a validation whether your records are unique or not. That you can do. You can.
Okay, but that I have to write in which part? Means
No, you have to configure it. You have to configure.
okay, but as you show in the example regarding that data transfer to data transfer in the same database, you have shown the example between that you have written the logic. But can you show where you get those from? Means it is from source, or it is from the transformation, or it is from the destination part, from the tools?
I think I am having one more example of this thing. I think I'll send you a application with having the same thing, because as of now I cannot show you the exact application and all that. Just mail me your query, so I will work on it, and based on upon the requirements I'll make the application, then I will send you. Okay, Kamal? Yeah.
Yeah, hello Kamal.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, Ravi here.
Yes.
Actually, I have one doubt. Hello Kamal, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Actually, there are two connection managers. One is for the flat file, another one is for the SQL Server.
Right.
So I want there is some data in a flat file and some other data. What is the flat file existing is same thing happening in existing in SQL Server. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I think so many people are just bombarding on me. I think if you don't mind, can you just write that problem, or can you just text me? Because I think there's some problem with the voice communication.
So what people can do is that they can, must be one person can speak, but you can write your question on the Q&A box, and also probably you can email Kamal so that, he can basically, reply you 1:1. So Kamal, I've answered, some of them, whatever I can, so that you don't get loaded. But must be, you guys can email Kamal, and definitely he will answer you back. So you can see kamalrawat86@gmail.com.
Yeah, so
Right.
yeah. So if you have any query on the some advanced things and all that, so just please do email me. I'll query one by one.
Right. So Kamal, actually what now, it's already 8:45 here. We have 15 minutes, so I just wanted to, because I think even Akshay will take some time, right, for SSRS?
Yeah.
Akshay, so is it possible in 50, must be we can't take everything, because, at 9 o'clock we have to end it sharp, must be maximum 9:10. Okay. So what you can do is, you can just take something very basic of SSRS, and then must be we can take up in some other session, because of the doubt session it got just extended. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So over to you, Akshay. I'll just mute myself. Guys, you can post your questions over here, so Kamal can answer it, until the SSRS session is going on. No, Abhishek, it is not a recurring session. We are trying to cover SSRS today over here, whatever we can. In case, we feel we need it, we can have a recurring session as well. Okay. Right. Yeah, go ahead, Akshay. I'll just mute myself. You can post your questions to Kamal, so that he can answer you separately. Yeah, I'll just mute myself. Thank you so much.
Hello. Welcome friends. We will Hello. Welcome friends. Today we will discuss about SQL Server reporting services. So what is SSRS? SSRS is a server-based report generation software system from Microsoft. It can be used to prepare and deliver a variety of interactive and printed reports. Now where we can use our SSRS? So use of SSRS is we can use business reporting, ad hoc reporting, embedded reporting, and portal integration. As a business reporting. For example, you may have a sales department. They want to see the monthly sales totals for all of the sales people in your organization. It's very easy. Once you build a report to launch on a web browser to view information anytime. Ad hoc reporting. Ad hoc reports are the reports which you can create using report model projects. These reports have a predefined layout, which is a standard layout from Microsoft. User can select columns from different tables or views and can generate the request as per his or her requirement. Then embedded reporting. It is also possible to embed this report into your applications. You can embed SSIS reports inside web and Windows applications. And portal integration. It is also possible to embed this report in a portal. In fact, Microsoft SharePoint provides the component out of box that it is easy to configure. Now let's move to the architecture of SSRS. So there are two parts. One is server components and another is a client components. So let's say server components. In server components, there are report manager, report server, and SSRS database. So first, report manager. A report manager is a web-based report access and management tool. The default URL for report manager is http://server/reports. This is the default virtual directory in which report manager is installed. A report administrator can later change this URL by editing configuration file or using the reporting services. The report manager manages permissions for report items and folders. It also manages data sources, provides authorization settings. Then report server. Report server at which all the report resides. All other activities pertaining to SSRS is done at report server. It acts like a workstation for the reporting tool. It processes the report, manages scheduling and delivery, gives us URL access, then SSRS database. All of the reports, authentication settings, metadata stored in SSRS database. Now let's move to client components. In that client components, there is Visual Studio reporting projects, Business Intelligence Development Studio, SQL Server Management Studio. Visual Studio reporting projects. You can design reports, you can deploy reports. Then Business Intelligence Development Studio. Recently, Kamal has talked about Business Intelligence Development Studio. There also you can design and deploy reports. In SQL Server Management Studio, you can test queries, you can check performance. Now let's see the whole process for report development. The first one is select the tool where you can develop your report. Then acquire data from database. You can design your layout, then preview report, and then deploy to report server. Okay, let's create from Business Intelligence Studio one basic report. Let's develop one basic report. Here I can go start all programs. In that we just Microsoft SQL Server 2008 R2, SQL Server Business Intelligence Development Studio. You'll go to File, New, Project, select Business Intelligence Project as a project type. Then from template, you can select Report Server Project. Here we can give the name SSRS Project 1. Then press OK. Here on the screen you can see set data sources, set data sets and reports. So let's create one report. For that, right click on reports, select add new report, and this is a wizard from where you can create report. So go through the wizard, report wizard, click on next. Here you can give the name of data source, that is player data source. You can set connection string, click on edit button. Here select the server name of your SQL server. Here I select my instance name, then give the SQL Server authentication. Check save my password. Selected database from where we can get data. Webinar SSRS. Test connection. The test connection is okay. Now press OK button. Now click on next button. Here you can build your query. So click on query builder. Here you can see right click to add tables or drag and tables. So right click, add tables. You can select our table and add and close. Here you can select all fields. Select player.start from player. Now press on OK button. Here is a query string. Here is our query string. Select player.start from player. Now click on next button. Here you can select either tabular or matrix. We select tabular. Then press next. Here we have an option to show report either group wise. So suppose we want to get the report by player name. So I add this to group player name and rest of fields are in for details. Then press next. We have 4 options: tab, block, include subtotals, and enable drill down. Right now we select tab, then press next. Here you can select any of the style of report. Then next, you can give a name of report. We can say player report and finish. It's very easy to create report in SSRS. You can see now if you want to see the report, then click on preview. Here you can see our report, and this is our table structure in SQL. You can see here I create one table, player ID and all such details. I inserted data in that table, and now we can see the report by player name MS Dhoni and SR Tendulkar. Now how to deploy this report? So for that we have to set go to project properties. Here we have to set target server URL. So from where we can get target server URL? So for that click on start menu, all programs, Visual Microsoft SQL Server 2008, configuration tools, reporting services configuration manager. Here connect. In web service URL you can get the URL. So copy this URL. Here to connect this we have to give credential of my system. So I say write computer name first / username, then password. Okay, I can copy this and paste here. Okay, now let's deploy this report. So for deploy this report, click on SSRS project 1 project, right click, then select deploy. Okay, deploy succeeded. Now you can see here from configuration manager, select this URL, and in browser here we can see SSRS project 1. Click over there. Here is our player report. Click on
Akshay, you're gone on a mute. Must be you can unmute yourself. I'm not sure. Probably you're gone on a mute. Kamal, can you just check in case, because Akshay's screen is not getting refreshed here, at least at my end. So. Is it just me or?
Yeah, I'm also not able to.
Yeah. Okay, now I can see the screen moving in. Okay. Okay.
A little bit back because I think you were disconnected.
Right. Yeah. Akshay, can you speak? I'm not sure. You have to unmute yourself. I think it's muted at this moment.
Actually, not able to hear you. Hello?
Okay, looks like some very huge errors over there. Akshay, you need to click on the cross. Okay, let me just guys, give me 2 minutes. I'll just try to ping him up. He should not close my chat window. Click on cross. Voice and video. Click on cross. Yes. Click on join audio.
Hello.
Yes, Akshay, I can hear you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. This is my web application. Here I store RDL file in RDL's folder, and this is the default.aspx page. Here I add report viewer, and on default.aspx.ca I set some property. Here report viewer 1.server report server credentials. Here I pass my credentials, pieces credential, username and password, then processing mode, set remote, then report server URL from configuration manager and the path. And now I run this application and I can see same report here. In this way we can use our RDL file in our web application. Okay sir, that's it. That's all about SSRS.
Yes, I think that's pretty. I mean, it's basic one I know, but it still helps out people who are newcomers here. So, guys, any questions? Because it's already 9 here. Any questions? Any queries here? If you want, you can speak on the mic now because now we have ample time to take up the questions. So. Right. So any queries before we end the session? So very quickly, actually, in case you are interested in joining the, what you call the Shisha Corner Mumbai group, it's not about that you have to be in Mumbai. Only thing is that people who are from Mumbai can meet us personally. That's it, But in case you are interested in create, doing these kind of sessions, what these guys have done, you can email to any one of these email IDs here, either to Kamal Rawat, either to me, and we can help you out. So any questions here, before we end the session? Yes, please go ahead.
I have a quick question. Yes. So if you wanted to get the data from the SharePoint list to the SSRS, because that's the usual requirements which we are getting right now. So do you have what do you comment on that?
Now see, if you see, I don't know if you remember, right, the screen what Kamal had shown, right? If you see, you can also consume web services if you wish. Okay. I'm not sure, you have to hunt around if there is a component, in the toolbox, which can consume list or which can consume SharePoint. But what I know is that SharePoint also exposes its complete model via web services. Okay. So must be one of the ways, is that basically what you can do is, you can try to consume that web service and try to get the data from the list.
Hey, Shiv, this is Mahesh. How's it going?
All fine, Mahesh. We have finished. So we are just taking up questions.
I've been watching. I have answered for the person who just asked question about SharePoint.
Yes, please.
So if you use SharePoint object model, you can get a list of all the whatever data you want from SharePoint, and then you just get that data in a data table or data set, and then you can just do what just Akshay showed you, because now you have data in your object. And that's what exactly you said, Shiv.
Right, agreed. And I don't know, like we also have to look into the toolbox of what you call SSIS, in case if there is some ready-made way by which we can consume it, because you can consume web services as sources. So must be you can try that. One is that what you said is right. You can consume the SharePoint object model and do it, but you have to write code for that, right, Mahesh? I'm not sure.
Yes, you have to write. So yeah, you have to basically get a list of whatever data you want from SharePoint. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Shiv.
Yes, we also have. Yeah, Kamal, also you can answer these questions, okay? Because I'm there as well. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question in IAS, SSIS.
Yes.
Is there any condition check before inserting a report in SQL Server from the platform? I think if there is any existing data is there in SQL, we have to update it from the platform. If it is not existing in SQL, we have to insert the new row in the SQL Server. Is that possible with SSIS?
Actually, I'm not getting your question.
I'll just answer that, Kamal. What the question is, I think is that basically, if let's say, correct me, like from the source, if we let's say we have 3 records, we run the SSIS package and we insert it, and later if the records change, is there a way of updating? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah. So for that,
if it is already. Yes, I will tell you. If it already exists in the SQL, we have to update from the flat file. And if it is not exist in the SQL, we have to insert as a new row. Like this.
Yes. So what we have is, in SSIS, must be Kamal can also answer it. We have something called as slowly changing dimensions, SCD. Okay. So by using SCD, as the name suggests, SCD means, where data changes slowly. Okay. Means the source is changing. So you can use SCD and basically, update or sync up your source with the destination. Can you see on my screen this SCD, slowly changing dimension?
Yes, I am seeing.
Yeah. So that thing you can explore more.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Right, guys. So that brings us to the end of this session. Because it's already 9:10 here. So if anyone is interested, in this group, what you can do is you can mail to Kamal Rawat, you can mail to me. All our email addresses over there. If you are from Bombay, right, you can call on this number. This is a landline number, and because we are thinking of organizing something offline very soon. Okay. So in case anyone interested, you can call over there after 10 a.m. India time. Okay, because at that time someone will be there. And definitely the Shisha Corner website is always there for everyone. Right. So anything else, Mahesh? You want to speak anything, before I end the session?
Hey, first of all, I've been watching. I was here. Somehow I was unable to, start my audio, but I was here since you guys started. So first of all, great job, Kamal and Akshay both. It was really great. And thank you for everyone, Shiv, for organizing all this, great session, and everybody, thank you for coming join the session. Any feedback, I'm sure you got the numbers. I think that's about it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mahesh. Thanks for everything. Thanks to give this opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Kamal. Thanks, Akshay.
Have a nice weekend.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks.